everyone, it's Shel C from PaperOcotilloStudio, and today I'm sharing with you a gel print to project video where I start with the gel printing and I finish up with the project all in one video. This is sped up most of the time 4 times fast, so this took longer than the video, obviously. I wanted to experiment with my new StencilClub stencil designs that came in December. There's a 9x12, a 6x6, and a 4x4, which are the stencils I used on the gel plate in this project. Also, I am using some inks instead of acrylic paint. These inks are called Versafine Clair, and they are a hybrid pigment ink. And I got them recently because I was teaching a stamping class, and I just wanted, didn't have this type of ink. I had other pigment inks, and I wanted to try them. They supposedly dry faster than regular pigment ink, which takes forever to dry, which is why I've never liked it. And so I purchased just like 6 colors, and I'm messing with them today on the gel plate. Worked good. The prints are not, I would say they're muted. Like, they don't come out the color. It's still the color of what the ink is, what the pigment ink is from the pad, but it's lighter and softer. And I'm using different types of paper. I have some regular printer paper from my inkjet printer. I have some rice paper. What else did I have? Some mixed media paper, I think. And I just have these, half sheets left from whatever, and or maybe I cut them, I don't know. And I'm using a 5x7 plate. I was going to do both plates at the same time. You can see I've got my little 3x4 or whatever it is. I think I have 3x5 and a 5x7 there. But I ended up just using the little bit larger one that's kind of almost like a half sheet of paper. So I am not doing anything fancy here. I put the pigment ink on the plate. I brayer to make it smooth. I did notice that I could get a lot of prints, whereas acrylic paint will pull everything off. Maybe you'll have some little, bits left, crusty bits left, but mostly it pulls everything off. I could probably get varying 3 to 4 prints, getting lighter and lighter and lighter, obviously. But I don't know. Printing with this ink was pretty fun. I don't do a lot of gel printing with ink. I have distress inks that I could, use. I've got archival inks. I've got just regular dye-based inks. I just don't ever do it. I tend to be an acrylic paint person. So this worked out well. I got to play with the stencils, which have kind of like this open, shadowy one on the big one to make like these areas of color. And then it's got one that's got these little stems on it, and then a small one that has a wreath. And I'm just kind of showing some of the prints, and I'm layering one print on top of another on top of another, changing colors. It's not just one and done, like sometimes you see me build everything on the plate and then pick it all up at once. Nothing like that. It's just your standard putting some ink on, putting a stencil on, printing through the stencil, picking up the stencil, printing the reverse effect with the rest of the ink that's on the plate. That's all there is to it. Nothing fancy. It's just the only difference is that I have new stencils and I have new ink pads. And I do think that these ink pads worked really well for gel printing. They did dry quickly. There was not any long-term effect of them not being dried on the paper. So I had no problems with them at all. And I'm intending to make a project with these. So these were intentionally created to do a project. It's not like I was just gel printing for the fun of it, which often I am. In this case, definitely going to use these. I'm going to use these colors. I tried all the colors, but I didn't use all the colors on the project. I was deciding on a color combination still. So I have a dark green, a black, a bright red, wine color, an orange. I think I have one more. I don't know. I don't have a whole lot of colors of this product, but I might order some more maybe. At the time that I was ordering them, I just needed a few to play with. I didn't really think, usually if I'm trying out a product, I'll get a blue, a yellow, and a red and, work with it that way. Maybe I'll get a black and a white or something like that for the neutrals. But in this case, I'm not even sure what I was thinking. I just ordered what I could find, I guess. I was in a hurry. So then I also have these ink pads in a gold and a silver metallic. And these are not the same ink pads. They're called Encore. I'm not even sure if they still sell Encore. I should look. But these are the ones that I generally use to emboss with. Like if I'm going to do silver embossing, I use the silver ink and then put the silver embossing powder on top. So that's what I originally had these for. But I decided, well, I'll put a little bit of metallic over the top of these prints with the same stencil and see how that comes out. So I did play around with the gold and the silver. What I found is that it didn't clean off my plate very well, and I had to clean my plate with some hand sanitizer. Now this process I don't usually show, but this is what I do when I am getting ready to use up prints for, say, collage or something like that, or maybe I'm going to sort them into colors. Often I will go ahead, take a corkback ruler and tear all the edges that I don't want off. I don't usually show this to you, but this is sped up 8 times fast. It's just something I do before. And then now I have a collection of basically 2 different colorways. I've got this one that has the oranges and reds with the dark green, and then some pieces that are dark green or a pastel version of that green if it was a second or third print. And then I also have this other collection that I didn't use that has purples, purple and green, which I think is that more like that wine colored purple, but it turned out looking quite purple. So maybe I do have a purple pad too. Maybe I do. Maybe that's why they looked so different. These 2 different color collections I ended up with. I must have a purple pad. I don't know. I don't even know what I have. I know I played with it. So now I got out this empty tin. This is a Tazo tea tin, and it's metal, and it used to have tea in it, obviously. Now it's empty, and I thought it would be something that I could make into some type of a gift container. I thought it would be perfect for that. It has stickers on it. I'm not going to worry about that. I did remove the tape stickers from the top that were sticking it down tight, and I used some rubbing alcohol to get that off the silver part because I am going to let some of the silver part of the project show. So around the outside edge of the tin, and I guess that's the only part that, well, I guess around the bottom edge, there's some silver as well that I'm leaving. I'm not going to change it. And in that way, the tin will still function. I won't be putting something up over the edge and then the lid won't snap back on correctly. I'm leaving that upper edge just exactly as the tin came, and also the edge at the top. I'm just only covering the very top of the lid. So I am taking these pieces, I'm deciding which ones I want to use together, and then tearing them and applying them to the tin using matte gel medium. The gel formula is thicker, and I'm putting it both on the tin right over the label. I know that label's stuck on there because I tried to peel it off. So it's going to be fine, and even might even help to adhere the new paper to the old paper. So putting the matte gel medium on the back of the paper. If it's a thicker paper, I spritzed the back with water too to break down the fibers to help them stick a little bit better before I put the gel medium on. And then also putting the gel medium onto the project itself. I'm trying to keep the gel medium off the silver parts, And down at the bottom, there is a rolled edge. The metal is rolled edge. I'm letting that paper go over that a little bit because I am going to show you later how I sand at the edges to remove the excess paper and make everything really super neat and tidy. This tin will, in the end, look like you bought it that way. I mean, that's my intention. I I don't want anyone to know this is a recycled Tazo Tea tin. I mean, I don't want anyone to know that. I just want it to be a beautiful project that people see and think, oh, that's really cool, and it's going to have treats in it, so that's even better. And it will be a holiday gift. I have someone in mind to give it to. So you could also, instead of making it for treats, you could make it so that it's for paper clips on someone's desk, or something like that. Some other little thing that could fit inside of it. You could cut a slit in the top and make it a piggy bank. Something like that. Just, it's great to be able to not throw this thing away, but instead make it into something beautiful that someone will want to keep. Maybe I'll even keep it. No, I made it for someone else, so I'm not going to keep it. But you know what I'm saying, right? So then once I got everything glued together and it's starting to dry, it's not dry yet, but it's definitely, it's dry enough for me to continue moving on. I'm using that little 4x4 stencil that has kind of a wreath on it, and I'm stenciling a little bit more of that silver metallic with some acrylic paint so that you can really see that there is some silver metallic that matches with the parts that I left untouched. And the silver on the tin is not super shiny. It's kind of looks like it's like a brushed finish. Sometimes you can get those on things, a brushed finish, and that's just kind of what it looks like. Not super shiny. So the little metallics that I use to put, add a little bit more of the metallic with the wreath look really great on there. I also covered the bottom. I'm not really sure why. Didn't need to, but I did. So there you saw me using a nail file to just clean up any edges around the top of that tin where I had attached paper. If anything was over the edge, I sanded it off. For the bottom part, I ended up using a sanding block that's got rougher sandpaper. But right now I got a little scrap of green cardstock and I cut out some letters because I'm going to put letters on the top. So they're little die cuts, tiny little letters. I think I got it from inlovearts.com. I believe that's where they're from. And it's got all the letters on one die. So I have to get all the letters to get the letters I need. And I ended up having to cut a little section again so that I could get 2 T's for the word treats. Because, yeah, treats. I'm going to put some truffles in there. I like to make truffles at the holiday time. So I'm going to put truffles in there and give it as a gift. So then I had put that little, the piece that had just a very light coating of green ink, like maybe a third or fourth print, across the top of the tin. And then now I'm attaching the letters. And then I thought, still needs something. Something. So I got out some stem dies. Stems with leaves, And I just used a couple scraps, cut it out, and then I painted them with that same metallic paint, silver, so that there would be like a couple little sprigs of silver at the top. Just a little design element. It's a PBO silver paint with a sponge. That one was cut out of a scrap of rice paper. It did not want to behave. Rice paper is very thin. It's almost like a tissue. So it was just kept trying to attach itself to things, but I made it work. So then some more matte medium, putting that down, and adding those two little sprigs, and that makes the top of it really cute. I thought it's it's not a splashy project. It's subtle. It's like the person I'm giving it to, basically. She wouldn't want it to be super, super bright and crazy and, you know, eye popping. She would prefer something like this. So it worked out perfectly. So there I am using that sanding block to get the excess paper that I allowed to hang over the edge at the bottom. And now it's all nice and even, and I can do a little bit of shading. This is a new pen that I got, Japanese brand. I don't even know, like, I don't know what the brand is, but I wanted to try the brush tip on it because it's not a completely fanning open brush. It's a small, flexible nib, but it's longer than they usually are. So it's like a little brush. This this particular pen is not permanent when dry. So I can use my water brush to blend a little bit, as you'll see me doing. And then this I took outside and sprayed it with clear gloss acrylic spray and let it dry so that it was all the things were sealed in together. So everything will stay on there. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I am so grateful for everyone in 2021 that has helped my channel grow. I hope that in 2022 it will grow even bigger. So please remember to give me a thumbs up if you liked this. Leave me a comment, or if you have a question about the process that I didn't cover, be sure to ask it because I will answer you. And subscribe if you haven't already. I always like to see the new subscriber numbers every time I log in, so that excites me. And thank you so much for supporting my channel these last, what has it been, 5 years? And I hope to see you in the new year. Have a happy winter holiday, whichever one you celebrate. That's it for me. Thanks. Bye-bye.